Okay, so we are now into gaming and tech. This week in gaming and tech, we have Mortal Kombat 1, two controversies to go over. One is technically a follow-up. The other is a follow-up in a different respect. We'll get to that. We also have Grand Theft Auto 6 has made an announcement, and this is kind of confirmation of rumor to a certain degree. Plus, the Game Awards, the games nominated have all been announced, and controversy then ensued. So we're going to talk about a fair bit of that. Probably not all of it, but most of it, and then a little bit more. Welcome, nerds, to the gaming and tech news for the week. This is a clip that has been taken out of the main show, The Week in Nerddom, which goes up on the main channel, youtube.com/generallynerdy. In gaming and tech, we like to talk about, well, you know, gaming and tech, trailers, announcements for new tech and games and consoles and everything in between that is gaming and or tech related. So this week in gaming and tech, all of this stuff happened. So let's go. Starting things off with follow-ups and corrections. Once again, two follow-ups for Mortal Kombat 1. First and foremost, we have potentially, and this actually, until this morning, I thought was kind of in the bag, but might not be exactly what the report is. So I'm getting ahead of myself. Anthony Starr, the man who plays Homelander on The Boys on Amazon, is who they're modeling their version of Homelander after. Not the Homelander from the comics, but Anthony Starr's Homelander is who is getting modeled into Mortal Kombat 1. But Anthony Starr himself has shed a little bit of doubt on that recently on Instagram. He seemingly responded to a question about Homelander and about his role being played in the Mortal Kombat 1 version of Homelander. And he said, or he seemed to imply, again, it's a little sticky because there's so many questions were being thrown at him, he could have been potentially responding to somebody else. But the implication seems to be that Anthony Starr is not going to be voicing Homelander for the game. Not exactly the end of the world, though you wouldn't know it by listening to about 90% of the Mortal Kombat community, as was pointed out by MK Column. One of the guys, the art guys in the community, I can't think of his name. He's really big. He's doing the 3D adaptation of the earlier games. That guy, he pointed out on X that if you remember back to Mortal Kombat 11, Schwarzenegger didn't do the voice for the T100 or the T800. That was done by a voice actor. It was voiced to sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it was not in fact Arnold Schwarzenegger. So this is not the first time this has happened. So again, not exactly the end of the world. Though, again, this morning, as I was refreshing myself on the research for today's episode and kind of finishing up the research for today's episode, it was again, some questions were being thrown at Anthony Starr on Instagram, and he then seemed to imply that he was joking or perhaps was responding to a different question when he said nope. Because his only response to the question, are you going to be voicing Homelander for Mortal Kombat 1? All he said was nope. So it really could have been him saying no to almost anything that was being asked of him. So time remains to tell, or time will tell once we get there. It's not that far out, as I believe Homelander is the next character we're getting come December. So we will find out soon enough. That is what we've got on that piece, though. So staying with the Mortal Kombat 1 camp, we have almost a resolution, almost, to the controversy around the holiday fatality situation. So just as a TLDR, Mortal Kombat, the NetherRealm Studios folks released, just before Halloween, released a special Halloween-themed fatality that was for everyone, every character in the game. You had to pay, I believe it was 1,200 dragon coins in order to get this. Now, dragon coins are a form of currency in the game of Mortal Kombat that you have to purchase with real-world money. So you can purchase approximately 1,250 dragon coins for $10 US. So it was just shy of $10 if you went that route. Or if you wanted to, if you were buying your dragon coins in smaller doses, then it is 500 dragon coins for $5 US. So theoretically, it's also kind of $12 because dragon coins are silly. But so that caused a bit of a commotion because a fatality that is theoretically only going to stick around for a limited amount of time was made available for more money than a skin, because there are premium skins in the shop as well, and those are only approximately 800 dragon. I think there's like between 500 and 800 dragon coins. I can't remember exactly. I've only purchased the scorpion skin, so I can't remember, but somewhere in that neighborhood, between 500 and 800 dragon coins. So that definitely did not sit well with the community, and they were not silent about it, which by all means they should not have been. I definitely had extra dragon coins from getting a collector's edition, so it wasn't a huge deal to me, but the resolution that has been proposed from NetherRealm seems to be going over slightly better than the original issue, and the solution is that they're going to be giving anyone who purchased the Halloween fatality, we're going to be getting two more seasonal themed fatalities, because one is a holiday theme, it's a Thanksgiving theme, and then we're getting a winter themed fatality as well. If you downloaded the Mortal Kombat 1 seasonal fatality, you're getting the free pack. You're getting the other two for free, or you can buy the pack as a triplet, presumably for approximately the same 1,200 dragon coins, crystals maybe. I think I've been saying that incorrectly this whole time. This is a little bit closer to what we were asking for, because that theoretically makes each of these fatalities roughly $3.33 or so. If you're buying the larger pack of dragon crystals, I don't see this smoothing it out entirely. Maybe a little bit more, maybe enough to a level that Warner Brothers is comfortable with it. I just don't think NetherRealm is comfortable with it. I'm pretty sure they're probably pretty upset with Warner Brothers behind the scenes, because this screams of WB's hand involvement in all of this. So if there is more to come from here, we will definitely be talking about it, but that is what we got for follow-ups and corrections. Let's get into game trailers. Just this morning, we got the 20-minute trailer-ish of the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. If you remember, the game was pushed back exceptionally long. The new release date, I don't believe I wrote it down, because I take amazing notes. So my apologies, but it is coming soon. I believe it's January or February. And it looks, honestly, it looks better. I feel like it looks like the gameplay is going to be much more smooth. I could just be taken in by the shiny polish that they put on this 20-minute deal, but it just looks like it's going to be functioning better than what we got, that really brief bit of gameplay from previously, before they pushed it back sometime. So a little bit of hopium here. It looks like it's going to be better than Gotham Knights, so I think that's kind of the bar that they've set for themselves. The Gotham Knights was not a Rocksteady game, I understand, but Rocksteady definitely has set the bar pretty high with the Arkham series, so it looks like it's going to be close to that bar. I don't think it's going to be quite that good, but that we are in the modern age of gaming, so it will get that good probably 6 months after it's been released. That's what we got for trailers. Let's get into some regular ass news. We have Grand Theft Auto 6. The announcement has been made. Yes, Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming, and that's kind of all we got, except for a release date for the trailer, the launch trailer, or the first trailer, I guess, not launch trailer. The first trailer is going to be coming out in December sometime, very probably before the holiday. Hopefully we'll be coming with a reservation SKU, so they can capitalize on some of the Christmas purchasing and all that jazz, Black Friday and whatnot. They're going to be missing Black Friday though. Now that I mentioned that, I wasn't thinking about that. They're definitely going to be missing Black Friday if it's coming out in December. So I don't know, it feels like they might be dropping the ball a little bit. Anyway, that's what we got for Grand Theft Auto. Let's move into the bigger controversy this week, is the Game Awards, set to air December 8th. Game Awards, all the nominees have been made public. You can go to GameAwards.com and vote for the Game Awards. Yeah, right? TheGameAwards.com. It does have the at the beginning. TheGameAwards.com. You can vote for all of the categories. The big issue this year, controversy-wise, well, I guess it's every year. Game of the Year is not without its controversy. So we'll go over those real quick. We're not going to go through each of the individual categories because then we'd be here all night. But we do have Game of the Year. The nominees are Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. So if you'll notice, a number of games were left off there. Final Fantasy, Starfield, there's a couple other bigger ones but those are the two main ones. Those are the two ones that everyone is saying one or the other of those is the big snub. I don't have a PlayStation. I'm not a PlayStation guy, so I have no say on the Final Fantasy stuff, but Starfield, while I do love me some Bethesda and definitely love me some Fallout 3 and 4, and to a certain degree 76 even, I don't know that Starfield is Game of the Year material, largely because of all of the issues they had at launch, and also because this is basically Fallout 4 in space. Like, as little of a leap forward as Fallout 4 was over Fallout 3, this is even less of a leap forward as far as gameplay mechanics, as far as the look and feel of everything involved with this game. And if you've watched any of specifically, I'm going to point out the Spiffing Brit. He did a video about Starfield a little while ago about certain exploits that you can get into on this PC version specifically, though I think they also apply to the Xbox version. But just all of the inner workings of this game are basically copy and pasted from Fallout 4. So is that really Game of the Year quality? Like, I understand there are definitely some hardcore Bethesda heads out there that love that company a lot more than I do, but if you're being honest with yourself, does it really contend with the very least Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom? I don't think so. I really, really don't. The only argument I can see that actually kind of holds water is Resident Evil 4 being a remake up for Game of the Year over Starfield or Final Fantasy. I don't know, man. Like, play Resident Evil 4, the OG release. If you play that and then play the re-release, tell me that those are the same game. Like, yes, they're telling the same story, but I really don't think they're the same game. So I can understand why they went with RE4 over Starfield for sure. Again, can't speak for Final Fantasy because I'm not a PlayStation guy. So very interesting there. But there is one other controversy that we're going to talk about here ever so briefly, and it has to do with the one of the indie categories. So Dave the Diver is up for Best Indie Game, not Best New Indie Game. I don't know what the distinction is there because, like, it came out this year, right? So aren't they all new? Whatever. And I could be, like, misremembering the categories wrong slightly, but that's kind of the gist of the two different indie categories, right? You have it's new indie developer versus new indie game, I guess. But Dave the Diver is being nominated for Best Indie Game. And there's a lot of controversy there because while the studio is in a way independent, they're small is probably the more appropriate way of looking at it. It is a small studio, so by most definitions, that is kind of what an independent studio is. It's very small, very little staff, not a whole lot going on there because they don't have the budget for anything bigger. But I didn't write down because, again, take amazing notes, but the parent company for the developer that gave us Dave the Diver is a very, very large conglomerate in South Korea. So yeah, not exactly an independent developer. I don't know how they've justified nominating Dave the Diver for this category, considering that, though perhaps it is just because of the size of the developer. I'm sure it will get addressed by Jeff Keighley sometime in the not too distant future, I would hope. But yeah, those are the two big ones. I'm gonna pass the Dave the Diver one off to you. I'm not even going to question whether or not it's an independent development, because size of studio doesn't necessarily indicate the size of the potential budget, because again, the parent company. But why do you think that they justify nominating this game for an independent award and not some other award that wouldn't be as controversial? Why do you think that? So let's talk about that in the comment section. Yeah, that's what we got for regular ass news in gaming and tech. Honestly, I feel like I could have done better with that, so I let you down and I apologize, but because there's been some tech stuff too, and then I just didn't have the time for, I think. Anyway, let's get into suggestions this week for gaming and tech. It is a gaming suggestion. It is Halo Infinite. Season 5 has come to an end. Yes, they are changing the way they're doing seasons for Halo 5. This is kind of a news piece as well, but whatever. It's the suggestion as well, because Halo is back and is honestly better than ever. Especially with this new playlist they've got, the Halo 3 Revisited playlist. Oh my god, it's so awesome. Anyway, they've changed the mid-season stuff. Instead of continuing the season throughout the 3 months or whatever, they run the season shorter, and then they have what are called operations. Instead of these special events, they're now operations is what they're calling them. So they're kind of like mini seasons in between the actual seasons. So if you paid for the season, you can still do all of the stuff and get all of the things that are earnable inside the season, but now you have these smaller operations which are only 20 items long that is free for everyone as long as the operation is available. Whereas the season, not everything inside the season is available for free. You have to pay for the season. The difference here is once the operation is done, it will not come back unless you've paid for it. And an operation is half the price of a season. So really what they've done is they've made seasons approximately twice as expensive because the season is 50 tiers high. The operations are 20 tiers high. So you've got a season at 50, rather 2 to 3 operations between seasons at 5. So you've got $10 for the season, $5 for each operation. Really, you're paying $15 if you want everything, $15 between seasons. So that is more than twice as expensive if you count those as the proper season length, because that's what they're filling in as the rest of the season length. But I mean, it's really cool because, you know, you could theoretically get everything inside of each operation for free. So yeah, I feel like they've found the secret to the ongoing Halo game, and that is exactly what that is. And it's keeping the community happy. So more power to them. Either way, season 5 has ended. We are now into operations between 5 and 6, and it's absolutely worth your time to play because it's just so well-rounded these days. Go play Halo Infinite, specifically play the Halo 3 Revisited playlist because it's a boatload of fun, and that is your suggestion aside from Mortal Kombat until we return. Once again, this is just the gaming and tech section. It is a shortened piece of the much longer news show that I do over on youtube.com/generallynerdy, which is the main channel. There's a lot more music and comic books and movies and TV shows, etc., that can be found over there on the regular show. Thank you for joining me here, though, nerds. Before we go, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.